Hey, happy Wednesday morning. Again, is released every Wednesday morning. Today, I'm filming this. It's Wednesday morning. I feel very productive. I work a later schedule, which is an amazing schedule. I work 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Probably the greatest time ever to work. I love this. I love this schedule. But I've got a lot done this morning. I got up very early, 6:30-ish. Very productive. Very fucking productive. But I was thinking recently, I read this article, and a woman was wanting to go on a hike. So she put it in her work chat or whatever, just to see if anybody else at work wanted to go for a hike. And because she was going that weekend, and she was like, hey, if anybody wants to come meet up here, at this time, and whatever. And it was a guy, I believe, from the IT department that showed up. He was the only one. So they went on a hike and found their soulmates, apparently. So now they're married. I think they dated first, I would hope. But they're married now. And I was thinking, what would happen if the whole company came? Because it was a smaller company. What if you had just 10 people come? Would they all have to move to Utah? No offense to the Utahnians. And marry each other, and they would all be fucking married. Maybe not. Maybe they would all just be friends. Maybe she wouldn't be married. But I was thinking about that. What would happen if it was more than IT guy? If it was the IT department? Whatever works. I'm not against it. I don't think that life is for me. I think one significant other is more than enough to keep you occupied. I could not imagine having to have, that's just so much. That's a lot. That is a lot of different people, and a lot of juggling. I'd rather juggle with one person than juggle with multiple people. But I've never juggled. But I was thinking about that, and then that made me think. I was watching it when I was growing up. I always watched Cops. I always wanted to be a cop when I was growing up, and thank God that was a fucking phase. And now I can see how just no. But I was watching an episode of Cops, and they showed up because this fucking family, this mom and daughter, were fighting and just weren't happy with each other. And the cop shows up, and he's talking to the daughter first, and he's like, what the fuck's going on? And she's like, well, me and my ex were together, and we lived here. They all lived, her boyfriend at the time and her mom, they all lived in the same house. And she said that her and her boyfriend, now her ex-boyfriend, broke up. And her mom swoops in, and now the mom and the ex-boyfriend of the daughter are dating, and they're all still living in the same house. So we can imagine how contentious that household was. I'm sure they have a lot of great stories, but in what world? This is a trashy ass place, which makes sense, but in what world? Because the guy was younger, he was around the daughter's age. Mom was probably in the 40s, maybe 50s. Daughter is probably in the 20s or something like that. But it's the same with the boyfriend. Like, what in the holy fuck was going on? Because you can only imagine. He was probably the entire time, I'm going to assume that they broke up because the daughter found out that her boyfriend, now ex, was fucking her mom. That's where my mind goes, because I guarantee I would fucking bet on that happened. And she found out and she got pissed off and said, "I'm leaving you, go." And he said, "Well, hold up. I live here. I am your stepdaddy now. I was your boyfriend yesterday, and today I'm your stepdad. You will respect me. I am fucking and dating your mom." It was a mess. It was a good episode of Cops. It was a good episode of Cops. But I remember growing up, I was not allowed, I would get in trouble if I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons when I was younger. And then I remember before Cops came on, because it came on Saturday evenings. And before it came on, it was Married with Children that was on before it. And that it would be on, so that way when Cops comes on, I can watch it right away. And I remember I wasn't allowed to watch Married with Children either, so I would get in trouble if it was on. And I didn't even understand Married with Children. I don't think I've even seen a full episode. I mean, I can understand why it's not good for kids, but on the same hand, I can also see why Cops wouldn't be for kids as well. I just... let's get into it. Imagine a dumpster. Okay, giant, just disgusting, decrepit, fucked up dumpster. Okay, and then light that bitch on fire. That is what America is. A fucked up, decrepit ass, giant ass dumpster that is on fire. Oh my God. It is a dumpster fire. We're not going to get into politics because this is not a politics podcast. But it is just disgusting what's going on, honestly. It's just everything. It is mind-boggling. I live in Ohio, and last month, I believe, our fucking great governor, he signed a law where you can conceal carry a gun, no license needed, no training needed. As long as you're not a felon or if you're over 21 and you're not a felon and whatever, you can carry a gun. Concealed. But before that, it was open carry. I mean, you could open carry all day without a license, without any training. And now, you can also conceal carry. And that's just scary. Just the fascination and glorification of guns in this country is disgusting. And every other day, there's a mass shooting. And every other day, there's a mass shooting. People always come out and say, oh, we give our thoughts and our prayers to, this school or that grocery store or that church or wherever the fuck that shooting was. They always give their thoughts and prayers. But that doesn't do anything. That doesn't do a damn thing. What does do something is when you pass meaningful legislation that makes it where it's a safer atmosphere. Where if you want a gun, fine, but you need to declare what it's for. Are you going to hunt with it? Is it going to be for home protection? Or do you want to just, you feel so unsafe that you carry a gun wherever you go, right? Right. So that should be on the paperwork. What the fuck are you going to use it for? And then from there, you should have to register it. You should have to have a background check. You have proof of training longer than 8 hours. That's what it was before they just passed this law. It was just 8 hours of training. It's anything but training. Okay, I went through one of those classes. Anything but training. It's just a formality, basically. It's disgusting. But it should not be as easy as it is to obtain a gun. It shouldn't be that easy at all. And I remember growing up, my dad loves guns as well. And I remember every time there was a mass shooting or something, and he watches nothing but Fox News. It's funny, I go back to that town. I try and limit my time there 2 to 3 times a year. But every time I go, I like to turn on CNN. Not that CNN has great news, but better than Fox News, and it's funny. I put that on. But he'll just sit there and watch Fox News all day. And, but he would always say, and really just echo whatever Fox News was saying as well, of, the good guy with a gun would beat a bad guy with a gun. So the more people you have, that's their logic, is we need more people that have guns, because there's not enough until everybody has, even the fucking baby that was born this morning has at least one gun. They won't be happy. And once everybody has one gun, then they'll be like, well, we need 2 guns. And then it just won't stop. And I just don't understand the fascination with the culture of guns, it's our God-given right. Fred, no, it's not. It's not. One, I'm just gonna let you know God's not real. But 2, it's an amendment, sure, but amendments can change. Amendments have changed. You can take them away. You can add amendments, right? But in 1776, when they wrote the Constitution and they put the Second Amendment in there, all the way back then, they did not imagine a semi-automatic or an automatic gun They were talking about motherfucking muskets, right? You fired it, and you'd be lucky to hit the side of a barn because that thing wasn't accurate, right? And then it takes about 5 minutes to fucking load. You got to pack the powder in, and then you got to put... It's a whole thing. It was a whole thing, right? You're lucky to shoot one person, right? And then we got to load it. You pack the powder. Okay, there wasn't fucking mass shootings there, right? But now you have a wide array of guns, right? You want a shotgun? Sure. You want a pistol? Sure. Rifle? Sure. Right? And everybody's like, oh, I have a rifle for home defense. Who in the fuck is coming to your house to try and rob you or kill you where you would need a AR-15 or any fucking rifle that holds 30 or some more bullets? You don't, right? Home defense. What if somebody comes and breaks in my house? Okay, so somebody comes and breaks into your house to steal your stuff. I understand you'd be upset. But should we kill somebody because they're scrounging around for money for whatever they want to use it for? Right? It's different if they're coming in there with a gun trying to kill you. That's different. But if they're just trying to rob you, right? You got some hands and your feet, right? If you want to beat them up, go for it. But why do you need to kill them? Like, somebody comes and steals your car. Somebody comes and steals your fucking piggy bank. You're going to fucking put a bullet in their head? It doesn't make sense. And the logic they have, because they're so close to being like, oh, we need some, control on the gun somehow, or the gun problem, because they're like, well, the way the world is, you need a gun anywhere you go. Somebody can come in there and start shooting. They are so close, but so far from just using the 2.5 brain cells that they have to put 2 and 2 together. They can't, because they only have 2.5. So they can count to 2.5, but they can't count to 4. So you're scared to go to the grocery store without your fucking gun, right? You can't go to the deli to get a sandwich, or you can't go to McDonald's, right, without carrying a gun because you're afraid something would happen. You're afraid that somebody's going to come in there and start shooting up the place. Again, highly likely. Highly likely. But you're so close, right? It should not be this easy to get a gun. I have one. And honestly, I've said this from the beginning. It was a Christmas present that I got a few years ago now. I've taken it to the shooting range twice. It stays locked up and hidden, unloaded. I don't take it anywhere. There's no need. There's no need. And I honestly shouldn't have, because it's a Christmas present, right? So I didn't purchase it. It's not registered, or at least in my name. That should be illegal, but it's not. And that's the scary part. Like, that should be a felony, but it's not. Because America loves their guns. Honestly, I didn't even want it. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. I've used it twice at the gun range, 3 times at a gun range. I've gone to a gun range a couple times, but other than that, it stays locked up in a case, unloaded, taken apart. Like, when I go to the store, I'm like, is shit gonna pop off here? But I'll be first one out. But I'm not, I don't think of myself like all the other people that love their guns of, oh, if I was there, I would have stopped that. oh yeah. If I was in Buffalo during that last mass shooting, or if I was, wherever at the fucking movie theater in Colorado, I would have stopped that because I would have had my gun. No, you wouldn't have. Your bitch ass would have been the first one out the fucking door. And then if you look at the couple of times, especially recently, where there's been a good guy with a gun, what happened, right? I forget where it was, but it was last year, maybe 2 years ago or so. But the good guy with a gun shot the guy, one of the guys that was, or a guy that was shooting. I don't know if it was going to be a mass shooting. I don't know. But I know the cops showed up, and I think the first cop that showed up was starting to like take down the guy, the bad guy with the gun. And then the good guy with a gun was helping the cop, and he still had his gun out. I think. I'm not really well tuned on this story, but I know the rest of the cops showed up, and they saw this motherfucker with a gun, and we know how cops are. They're just itching to shoot, right? They're like, ooh, he's got a gun. We don't even need to ask quite enough. And they just shot and killed him. Fucking blew his ass away. And there's in no fucking world is that a option, or should it be an option? Like, that should not be something that happens where you need, and you're hoping like that you're there in that situation of, because you're just, I don't know. It's where you think you're basically a superhero, and that, as long as you're there with your gun, nothing bad's going to happen. That's some bullshit. And it's been proven time and time again, but that won't stop the talking points of good guy with a gun would stop a bad guy with a gun. It's fucking bullshit. We have a gun problem. It needs to be solved, right? We just start with the assault weapons ban altogether. There is no reason whatsoever where you need a rifle of any fucking kind. That's where we need to start. That's not the end, but that should be the start. Ban them. We don't need them. There is no reason you should have them. And then we can go from there. But it's disgusting on just how they're just fetishized. I think it's the word. Where just, some of these people, I fucking swear they're fucking their guns every night. I mean, they're just the way that they talk about these things. They love their guns more than their wife and kids. Barbara's like, Bill, where are you going? Are you cheating on me? And he's like, no, Barbara, I'm fucking my gun. Lube up the barrel and just start fucking it with their little dicks. I think that's what happens. Anyway, today's a little bit shorter. I have to work soon, so. But, yeah, we'll pick this up next Wednesday. Every Wednesday in the mornings. Come and listen, right? Or if you don't want to listen, you can look. You can just watch my face if you want to see what I look like. I just got a haircut this morning. Or if you don't want to see what I look like and just like my voice, there's the audio version wherever you listen to your podcasts. All right. Well, have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you guys next week.